family, and welcome back to Redefine the podcast. I'm your host, Dee McCoy, and we are here for episode number 3, and I'm here with, well, let me give you a little background. We went to high school together, and he was, I feel like I've never seen him upset. You always had a really nice car. Did you have a car in high school?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were one of the only people I knew that had a car in high school, and you played football, and you were just so, smooth. AJ was smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So, everybody, my guest today is AJ. Say what's up.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
Tell everybody, tell them
My
little bit about you. Well, yeah.
My name is Anthony Lopez. I'm from Orange County, California.
Hey.
Graduated Board Park High School.
What's up?
And I'm on this big weight loss journey.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it is amazing.
So before we even get into that, when I didn't follow you for a really long time.
Rude,
facts, disrespectful.
Yeah.
And so my friend Jessica, you remember Jessica, right?
Yeah.
So Jessica tells me, we were working out one day and she's like, or we're talking and she says, have you seen AJ? And I was like, damn, I don't think I've seen AJ since I went to Destiny's prom. Mm-hmm. And she's like,
you haven't, a long time.
Right. She's like, you haven't seen AJ. And I said, no. She's like, oh my God, I got to send you his page. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong with him? And
what's wrong with him?
And she's
Everything.
like, no. She's like, no, I can't tell you anything. I got to send you his page. I said, Jessica, just tell me.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I have to send you his page. Well, Jessica, oh my gosh, Jessica can't find your page. And so she's like, I'm going to find it and I'm going to send it to you.
All right.
I said, okay. So a couple of days go by and she sends me the page. And I'm like, oh shit.
That's what's wrong with him.
AJ is losing a whole bunch of weight. And
yeah.
So it was so interesting to me because, and I think I told you this, when I saw you, I never, when I knew you, I never thought of weight as an issue. You
Mm-hmm.
never made it seem like you were self-conscious about it. Nobody ever made it seem like a thing. So when she said, no, you gotta see him, I'm like, what was that? I'm thinking some crazy stuff. He got a lot of kids, or he done bought a car lot or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. It never made me, I never thought when I seen you, I was gonna see half of a person.
Right,
and not because not anything bad.
No, it's not bad to say. It's not bad at all.
I always was like,
you're just a big guy AJ.
And you embraced it, and you were just, I was like, oh my God, that's AJ. Oh my gosh.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people that know me from, day one of not even the weight loss, just day one of just knowing me as a person. I never looked at you the big guy AJ or my fat friend, or you were just AJ. You're happy, you're outgoing, you do what you had to do. And that's cool because that's how I was raised. I was raised to always know my self-worth and always have respect for myself. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, being that big, or being big in general, is not healthy.
Right.
And that was the main reason that I think that I had too much confidence that it was messing with my health, So I was always confident from elementary school to junior high to high school. My high school, my junior high and high school time, I've always been confident. But
I've never, I don't remember a time. Seeing you not what's up,
yeah,
I'm AJ.
Exactly. Still the same person, just half of it. But yeah, no, because you've seen me, football and shot put and discus and wrestling, and it never, it didn't really hold me back,
That's awesome. Okay, so tell me kind of I don't want to say start from day one, but what was it that made you say, I'm doing this now?
So that's a long story. So I'm gonna try to dumb it down a little bit, just because it's a long story.
Right.
But long story short, my grandpa got sick. He got sick with cancer, and it was given about 6 months to live. So I stopped working. I stopped filming. I stopped everything I was doing, and I just took care of him. And while I was going through cancer, and that whole time was going on, I was probably around 480, 490. And then in about 9 months, I gained over 100 pounds. That's what put me over to the 600 mark. So around 600, put me over 600. And I lived with my grandma for about 4 or 5 months after he had passed away. My grandpa had passed away. And when I came home, it was holy crap. Like, I looked in the mirror. Like, after I got done taking care, watching my grandpa die for, 4 months, and then be with my grandma, watch how sad she was, and see how sad my mom was, the whole family was. Like, I didn't care about myself. I was just caring about what's going on in front of me. And I looked in the mirror, and I got, like, pretty depressed. And you know me, I'm not a depressed person.
Right.
I'm not a sad person. I try to stay positive, everything. But that was, like, the lowest of lows when I looked in the mirror, and I was like, damn, like, I got big. I noticed how big I was. The person who loves himself the most noticed how unhealthy this is.
So it was more of like you didn't want them to experience another loss.
Exactly. I seen how hurt everyone was when my grandpa passed away, and I know, looking the way I looked and being as big as I was, that in a couple months or a year, they would be burying me. And I didn't want to do it. So I got on the scale. It said 599, and then it said air. And that is, like, heartbreaking.
Right.
To know that you're at 600 pounds. Like, the biggest I've ever been, at the lowest point of my life, and I was depressed for like 3 days.
So how do you, there's so many questions now.
Ask away, please.
How do you get out of that? Like, so some people get in these low spots, and they stay in these low spots.
Yeah.
And you had 3 days where you pretty much were like,
didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything.
Nothing.
But then something clicked.
I just realized, like, that me doing what I was doing is not helping anything. You know what I mean? Like, I was depressed. I was at home. I just lost my grandpa. I was just eating my feelings away because I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I mean, when I say don't drink, I'm not drinking every weekend. I drink on occasions when we're at the river, stuff like that. But I don't drink on a day-to-day, week-to-week type of stuff. So the only thing I had to go to was food. And that was my drug. That was, my alcohol. That was my, drugs.
Was that like your normal, were you like an emotional eater? Like, if you felt something, then you just kind of...
Yeah. Hands down. Good, bad, happy, sad, birthday party, funeral, we eat. Being Mexican and black, that's what
I was just about to say that. I swear it was.
Hands down, that's what we do. And I was never, taught a lot of the things that I know now, as in portion control and not eating because you're bored, but eating because you're hungry, which we could get to that later into the podcast. But, talking about, that present day of, the 3 days of my depression, I've never been depressed. I had to Google my feelings. I literally had to Google my feelings to know what the hell was going on in my body and why, my brain, like, why do I feel this way?
Why is this
why do
going
I, like, nothing can make me happy. Nothing. And so it was about 3 days, and my grandma Tony and my girlfriend really noticed it the most. And they didn't say anything because, you're not going to tell someone who just lost their best friend, hey, you're fat as hell, you need to lose weight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or what's wrong with you?
It's not the time.
And it's always the right time to help someone.
Right.
But I think that it is an exception of not saying something.
Yeah.
So it was just 3 days of just misery. Like, I'm happy that I went through that depression, because I used to be so, like, and I'm going to say into myself, but stuck in a way I think where, like, oh, depression is just a thing.
Right.
People just, if you're only depressed if you let yourself be depressed. But now I understand, and I know that, no, depression is something you can't change. If your brain and your body, whatever,
it's that, like, chemical imbalance or something.
It was bad.
It overtakes you.
It did. And I was like, so, like, the third day, I remember just, like, I called, the gym I go to, West Coast, and I called Waddle. I was like, yo, man, I need to go to the gym. I messed up. I look nothing how you saw me before. And I was like, I need to come in. And he said, come in. And I was like, don't treat me different. I was like, I don't care how big I am. I was like, I need to get this done or I'm going to die. And that's when that's what led us to where we're at right now. So
you go to the gym.
Embarrassed.
I was just about to ask you. What was the feeling in the gym?
Embarrassing. Like, at a gym, there's a lot of mirrors. If you've never noticed, there's a lot of mirrors at a gym.
Every damn where.
And when you don't like the way you look, a mirror is not your best friend.
And they just be all over,
right, left, up, down.
You can't even, like, be like, I'm not gonna even look at myself.
Yeah. You literally have to walk your blindfolds on and just work out, So it sucked. It sucked because there's a lot of people from high school that go to that gym. There was a lot of people that see me on the first time I lost weight. You know what I mean? And to me, I let myself go to a place that I never wanted to be, and I knew it was gonna take a lot of hard work and time. And like, it's like I didn't want to show myself till I got there. And it sucked. It really sucked. I know the pain when people say they're embarrassed to go to the gym, because when you don't look a certain way, when you look at, you see this girl with this perfect Instagram body and, like, this dude with a six pack, you're like, I would look like a blob of flubber,
right?
And you're just like, oh hell no. But something needs to be done.
So when you walked in, you're like, all right, I'm here.
Oh.
What was those like your first workout? I know you probably don't forget, like that very first one.
The first workout was super, super simple. It was just like doing push-ups on my knees. I think I did a little bit of arms. I was supposed to do the treadmill. Don't tell my coach this. But I didn't because I thought I was going to break it. So I did it. I didn't do treadmill. I told him I did, but I didn't. I didn't do the treadmill.
When you go back, he gonna be like,
yeah, you owe me some miles.
You owe me something.
And then like just walking with dumbbells back and forth. My first couple, I would say month or two, was just like simple life movements.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't hold myself back, but there's a lot of stuff that I couldn't do. Like I couldn't do a sit up. I still was walking. I know when people think 600 pounds, and actually let me reiterate that I was over 600 pounds. Because the scale said 599 and said error, and it took about almost a month before the scale said 598. So I don't know what I was, so that's why I say 600, because I know, people follow this journey. I don't have the solid proof that it was like over 600. I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to say that. So 600 is already a messed up number.
Yeah.
So it's a number where you need to change your life around. But yeah, going back to when I was working out, I couldn't do a lot of stuff. So I did what I could.
Right.
And I kept going every single day. In my head, I feel Monday through Sunday, but maybe it was Monday through Saturday. And
the day you were relaxing, you were probably like, I'm tired too.
Yeah, it's a lot. And now, where I'm at my weight right now, I carry around 245 pound weights. I'm like, that's not even half of what I was. How did I walk around like that?
Wow.
But I did what I could at 600 pounds. I busted my butt. I knew how to eat right. I don't know if you know this, but between when we graduated and I graduated 09.
Mm-hmm.
So within 09 to like maybe 2013, I lost weight. I lost 200 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I worked my butt off and lost the weight. And then I called Kaiser because I lost like 200 pounds. I wanted to get skin removal surgery, started to get a rash. And he told me no. And that was the downfall of that weight loss. I gained it all back plus some.
Okay.
So this is not my first time losing weight. I've always, even though you've always known me as a positive person, never really caring about my weight or affecting me, I've been on a diet my whole life. I've been fighting obesity behind closed doors my whole life. I just didn't bring it up to people because I felt if people knew my weakness, then I was a weak person. So if I walked around with, my head up high and I walked around like I had a six pack, I noticed people treating me like I had a six pack.
Facts.
And
you taught people how to treat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't give them an opportunity. And there's people that, bully me and try to make fun of me and try to give me nicknames, and we could go into that whenever we're ready. But, I didn't let it affect me, because if you let it affect you, then they won.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to beat me.
So now, so you're going to the gym and you're working out, you're eating different.
Way different.
And what does that look like?
Night and day. It wasn't, the honeymoon stage of weight loss, that January 1st to the 30th, like that. It's like the easiest part. That honeymoon, like, I'm going to be good. To the summer, I'm going to be looking good, And that's where I was, I knew I had to get it done, but my biggest fear wasn't the first month of my weight loss. My biggest fear was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months later if I'm going to mess up again. So a lot of chicken, a lot of rice, a lot of vegetables. I even go vegan once or twice a week. I'm not a complete vegan. I love meat. I can never give up meat 100%. I want to say that right now. But I will sometimes. I don't want meat. So I don't drink any dairy.
And you switched to organic.
All organic, yeah. All organic food. I do all organic food. And I just completely changed, my thought process on food. And, being at the gym for about a couple months, I lost 105 pounds.
Wow.
And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to mess up. How am I going to not mess up again? How am I going to relearn, my body? So I started doing research with the gastric sleeve.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, this looks cool, but okay, I lost this much weight and I'm learning, but what am I going to get out of this? So I watch other people's testimonies. I watch other people's videos about the gastric sleeve. And I was like, and you know me, I don't know if you know, but I'm prideful.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't want people to think it's only from this. This is a tool. But I was like, but I lost 105 by myself. And that's all documented. I've documented all that.
So you're thinking, I can probably lose some more by myself.
Well, yeah, I could definitely lose some more by myself. But I was basically fixing 29 years of mistakes. And that the first thing it starts is eating. It starts from your parents, your mom and dad, your grandparents, whoever's feeding you. What they tell you is like, oh, you better eat all the food on your plate because there's kids that are hungry and they don't have it. So then you're just mentally told you have to eat all this food. You know what I mean? And that's already a bad way of looking at food. And they take that with you until you're older and older and older. And next you know, you serve a big old plate and you have to eat it.
That is, that's such a good point, because I tell my daughter all the time, once you're full, you're full.
Exactly.
You're fine. You don't have to eat it. Put it away.
Eat it later.
Put some girl, you better put some foil on that and put it in the refrigerator. Or, sometimes she'll eat and she'll say, oh, I want a cookie now. And I'm like, you need to wait.
Digest
like, you need to wait. You're not hungry. You're not giving yourself time. And I've had, like, my older family members be like, she needs to finish that food. And I'm like, no.
I applaud you for
she's
that.
Done, she's done. And that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need to do as, older brothers and sisters and moms and dads and uncles and nephews or whatever. They don't have to finish their food.
No.
If you serve them, because most likely us being as adults, serve them as adult would eat, but they're not adult. And then it goes into
that portion control.
Yeah, portion control, and that's one thing. So going back to the surgery, I was like, I watched other people's stories, and I noticed it was a tool, and it was a way that I got to retrain myself how to eat. I got to take back my childhood and everything I've learned that was wrong and fix it.
So what does the surgery actually
So the surgery
do?
just makes your stomach smaller. And it doesn't last. It's not a lifetime. You don't have the surgery and lose weight. You don't have the surgery and next thing you know you're skinny. Like, this how you guys are looking at me right now is hard work, sweat, learning my body, going to the gym, what I don't want to, what I do want to. There's a lot of stuff behind it, but it was a tool. It was a tool that allowed me to only have a certain amount of food, and if you eat too much, then you feel it. You just get full fast, basically.
Okay.
That's
so actually really
it's
good.
Changing. I don't eat don't drink a lot of drinks with sugar. I can have whatever I want, but now I stay away from the sugars. What I've noticed since retraining my body how to eat and how I look at food, I was having like 1,000 calories in just drinks before my food got there.
The soda.
I was never a soda person, but like apple juice. When I told you I'm like a kid, I'm swear to you, would go in my fridge, you would think the kid lives there because I got juice boxes. But I love it. I do love apple juice. I'm not perfect, but just reteaching how big my portions are. And not meal prepping. I meal prep. I literally meal prep all the time. And when I don't, we just had our kitchen remodeled, so I had a kitchen for almost a month. I was dying.
Yeah,
I was dying. Like I got tired of rotisserie. I was trying to figure it out. Like rotisserie chicken gets old after a while.
Right. Facts.
So but meal prepping and portion control and eating every 2 to 3 hours of nutrition, not just fast food stuff.
I think that I like that you brought up that you called it a tool, because I feel like some people have like a different idea of it, and I feel like that's a really good way to help retrain and condition and get yourself.
You're fixing, however old you are, you're fixing that problem for that mistakes that you've had. And what I've realized is that a lot of people that hate on the surgery are usually also overweight and use that as an excuse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want loose skin, or I could do it myself. Sometimes you need help. I was 29 years old. I've been eating wrong my whole life. I was at the lowest point of my life, and I just got done losing 105 pounds, and I was personally scared to go back to 600 pounds and maybe even more.
Right.
I needed to fix something in my life, and the only way to fix it was to get rid of something, which is that bigger part of my stomach,
right,
and relearn,
so,
and retrain myself.
You have the surgery, and what is it like after that when you start working out again?
So I was supposed to like wait 6 months. I waited like 6 weeks.
2 weeks.
2, 3. Okay, maybe. Okay,
his girlfriend is here. She's like 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks.
You didn't follow directions.
I didn't. Okay, so when I had the surgery, I did a lot of research. I seen what I was in the support groups. I was seeing what people are doing, and I noticed a lot of people weren't working out. They were just eating less, and obviously you eat less, you're gonna lose weight. You're gonna lose something. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to enjoy my new life. I knew what was coming. So I hit the gym. I started lifting, and I went from 505, to 499. Obviously down and out. And the smaller and smaller I'm getting, the more I'm be able to do.
That's awesome.
So I got in, to actually won't get to mountain biking yet, but I do love mountain biking. But as I'm getting smaller, I'm doing more and more at the gym. I'm running more. I'm lifting more. I'm working out longer. I'm training for MMA. I'm doing different classes. I'm just even to the point of not asking people to grab something for me. I'm doing it myself. Just my life is slowly changing, and like I just got this crazy just this crazy high of just like, damn, like I thought I was living life. And I wasn't, because I was letting my weight holding me back without even noticing it. I just adapted to my being obese.
Yes.
And now I'm noticing, like, I got to the ride of my friend's Supra. I could never fit in a Supra. I don't know if you know what the Supra Toyota It's a small car.
Okay.
Small.
And you got in
and I drove. I took it for the weekend. He's like, if you could fit in it and put your seatbelt on, you could drive it. I was like, I did. I took it for the weekend. I was gone. And I loved it. You know what I mean? I got places to go, right? Yeah. And then it's just a whole new life, you know? So now, right around that time, I'm like around 450. I don't remember being under 450 for a while.
Wow.
Let alone being where I'm at now. I don't ever remember this number.
What are you at now?
Right now, I got on the scale 279 this morning.
That is so amazing.
Do
you sleep different? I mean, like, you know...
I thought my bed was small before. Now I realize my bed's big.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask you. I was about to ask you, because I feel like when you lose weight, like, I've lost 40 pounds, and to me it was huge.
Yeah.
But I literally felt everything was different. Like, I was able to, like, look down and see my whole body. And
everything hurts less. Yeah, everything hurts less.
Yes.
It's you know, man, it's hard to explain how good you feel when your body is getting rid of all the extra fat that is not needed. It feels good. You feel healthier. You just have a brighter outlook on life. And even too, it's not, I don't think it's a right thing to happen, but you even treated better. You're treated better.
Do you think that people that are overweight get treated?
Hands down, yes.
Really?
Yes. I will now, well, it's kind of hard now because we have COVID, but we still, you know, eat outside and stuff like that. But when I'm done eating my food, people are like, you gotta eat more. I mean, then before the comments were like, oh man, that's a lot of food. Damn, you finished that food already? Or when I order something, like, oh, that's all you're gonna order? And it's compared to like, oh, damn, bro, like, you ordered a lot of food. That looks bomb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just get treated differently. Like, if I say, like, I'm hungry, no one looks at me, like, again.
Right.
But I'm like, you know what? Damn, we haven't eaten in a while. Like, I don't know. It's, even to, like, when I talk to people, you know.
So do you think when, I'm trying to frame it correctly. So do you think that, like, people would say things not knowing that they could have been potentially hurtful?
Yeah,
like,
all the time.
Okay.
One time, so a crazy story. This is crazy. This only happened like a year and a couple months ago. I was eating a lunch. You know, obviously it was a year and a couple months ago because before COVID.
Right. Okay.
You know,
we're
having lunch, and I was at this little deli right next to the place, Premium, where I work. Right. I was sitting down, and the owner comes up to me, brings another chair. It was like, here, I think this will be more comfortable to put two chairs together to give me. And I was so embarrassed, I wanted to punch him. Like, I didn't have, the only feeling I had, which is I had to hit this old guy.
Right.
That's just how I felt. But, like, that really, like, made me, like, self-conscious. Like,
right.
Now that he looked at me and seen that does this guy need two chairs to be comfortable, now it made me feel like every time I go somewhere and sit on a chair, someone thinking the same thing. And that really messed me up. Like, I was really uncomfortable. I didn't want to eat the rest of my food that was there. I wanted to leave. That was a really crappy situation. That did not make me feel good. And if people are doing that, you know, to me, they're doing it to other people. And maybe he was trying to help.
Right.
Maybe he was trying to say, like, oh, maybe this will be comfortable. Maybe he was right. But to do that in front of a group of people while I'm enjoying my lunch, and I know I have a weight problem.
Right.
Every fat person knows they have a weight problem.
Facts. You know what? And I feel like people sometimes, like, when I gained weight, I felt like people...
They noticed.
You noticed.
Yes.
You noticed, and they it's really hard to say something.
Yeah.
But if you're saying something in love, then I feel like
it's different than
than, you know, you saying, well, here, just...
If it's your friends, family, if you look at someone and they're your friend or they're your family or you love them, you should be able to tell them stuff like that. I wish people would have told me sooner. Maybe it wouldn't have changed, but maybe it would have been in the back of my mind.
Right.
But because someone loves you, they don't want to hurt your feelings, and they know anything talk about, you know, weight is going to hurt their feelings. You know, no matter what anyone says, I am the most confident person that I personally know. And I still will get my feelings hurt when people will bring up my weight, even though they're just looking out for me and they love me.
So if your girlfriend would have said, hey, babe, like, I really, like, I think it's time for us to, like, work out, or I need you to, would you have...
I probably would have took it personal. But then I think I probably would have, you know, I would have remembered it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have remembered it. But it's a hard thing to talk about. It's hard.
And it's kind of scary.
It is. You don't know the person's going to react. You don't know what the person's going through. You don't know why. Like, someone's
Facts,
like,
yeah.
oh, you gained so much weight. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Dick. I just lost my grandpa.
Yes.
And I chose not to do drugs, but I eat. Like, you know what I mean? And that could have been a response that I would have gave my girlfriend. Or it could have been like, you know what, you're right. Which inside, every big person that's been told they're overweight or by love, you know, by friends, family, whatever it is, even though they're so frustrated at what you just said and they may snap back at you, inside they know it's true. You're stuck. It's just one of those things where you just maybe like, if maybe looking at it, like if I have a friend that's, you know, really overweight, close to diabetes, whatever it is, I think if I were to tell them something now, being where I'm at now, I think I would tell them about their weight. I'm like, you know what, man, we may lose our friendship, but our friendship is not as worth much as your life. So I want you to know this. You got to get yourself together. And if you don't want to talk to me because I said this, at least I've left in your head that you need to get yourself together. Maybe that's what I would do now because it's not easy. And maybe you will lose a friend because you bring up their weight.